Hello, everybody listening to the Fair Weather Podcast. It's your boy 2K Suave. I'm here with my dog, A Rod. Stay mellow. How's everything going this week, my friend?
A lot of good things happening. Good things for me in general, and a lot of sports talk, man. A lot of NBA stuff going on. Free agency, frenzy.
It
A lot.
got wild. It got wild, wild west this week.
Yeah, it got really, really wild. I mean, we're gonna discuss that on topics today. Obviously, we'll talk first about the draft. We'll talk about if Cade Cunningham's a real deal. We'll talk about who won the draft, who had the worst draft. How does this draft class compare amongst the past classes, because they're already labeling this as an iconic draft class coming out right out the gates. Um, and we'll dive into this free agency frenzy that's going on. Basically, LeBron is putting a show on why he should be GM of the year every year.
Executive.
The executive to the executives. But yeah, they basically cleared out house, brought in a whole new team, brought in Russell Westbrook, brought in half of the banana boat there with Carmelo Anthony and him now, and going to make a championship run. So we'll dissect that Lakers team. We'll dissect the new East looking teams that we have out there with the Bulls, who else is it? The Heat, and possibly the new look Knicks now that are out there. We'll just throw them in there for fun as well.
It's not
Um,
for fun. You know you want to talk about them.
uh,
Don't
a little
bullshit.
bit,
Don't bullshit everybody.
a little
We
bit.
know how you feel.
We'll talk about loyalty to franchises with players resigning, and then also the big name that's still on the market, Kawhi Leonard. And then, like we've been saying before, we're going to be breaking down different divisions in the NFL. So we're going to throw, since we did the NFC South last week, and we geared the whole show towards Tampa with two Tampa guests on the show, we'll go to the AFC South. To me, it's the most boring division in football right now.
You
The
think
way
it's boring? I think there's a lot of storylines coming out of the AFC South this year.
but I think like overall it's a boring division. But I think right now there's a lot of uh, gossip and news and everything coming out of there, so it makes it intriguing. So we gave it its own segment today, and we'll go after this show two divisions per show. So we'll break down the Colts, we'll break down the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Titans. And then for our fun segment, we've been brainstorming ideas all day. We tried to do something geared to the versus battle last night between the Locks and Dipset. Uh,
Did you
we
watch?
I did watch, and I don't know why I watch these versus shows anymore, man. I think I just do it for the nostalgia of the stuff and how much I really love the Locks and I love Dipset. But I mean, Jada
But
can
you
say it
you
best.
saw what happened. You
Yeah,
know
man.
I've been beating this table. I've been beating this damn drum for years and years and years, and people look at me funny. Listen, man, listen. I've been in Florida more than half of my life now, so I consider myself a Floridian now. But
Florida
I
man.
have what's up?
Florida man.
You could call me a Florida man if you want to call me a Florida man. I don't personally identify as Florida man, but I am a man that lives in Florida. And I've lived here, like I said, over half of my life now. So I'm here, but I always will have my musical roots and taste come from up north. And I've been on this Jadakiss train for a long, 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 long time. I've been on this LOX train for a long, long, long time. I was a Dipset fan too. Don't get me wrong. Who wasn't a Dipset fan that grew up at the age that we grew up? But I've always, when Jadakiss said he's top five dead or alive, I've been saying, yeah, he is, and I'm happy that he took two versus battles basically in the last 8 months, and he shined on both of them. I mean, shined, and he's let the world know that he is dominant. You're excited about Kemba Walker coming to Madison Square Garden. Jadakiss came to Madison Square Garden last night and lit that shit up. I mean, you want to talk about hold it down for the city of New York? I mean, state of New York. Jadakiss held it down. The Locks held it down. I am so proud of my boys. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
So real quick to touch onto that, like I the versus battles, they try to do it where it was like one versus one, then they turn it into their discography and just play it back and forth and have fun, because at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are friends except for Young Jeezy and Gucci Mane, which we thought they were gonna have a brawl up there too.
I mean, apparently they kissed and made up.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're boys. All three of them are boys. They're going on tour. Actually, they just put out the tour, the dates that they're going out there, and State Property is actually going with them too.
I saw.
And they're two different types of rap, man. One's very street New York rap with the Locks, and then it's pretty boy rap with Dipset, which I've always called that. But who didn't fuck with Dipset, man? Like, it's just two different styles of rap. They both put out mixtapes together. They both collaborated together, and they both did a good job. But if you wanted to go bar for bar, like the Locks,
that's what it is. Like, I think Dipset, as far as like, radio hits and just, the movement that they had with all the pink and the culture and the culture. Yeah, I'll always give Dipset credit for that. They have that. But I'm talking about street songs, like We Are the Streets. Yeah. They are like the Locks. They are the streets. They are the voice of the streets to me. And
yeah, when they hit with All About the Benjamins, I was like, just turn it off now.
Just turn it off. Like, at this point, it's too easy. At this point, we were saving all of this, and he got to understand they could go 20 more songs if they needed to.
They went over it.
They could go 20 more if they needed to. I'm telling you, they got hits.
All right. So for the fun segment, we're gonna go back to our original one of where he go to college. And please our biggest fan, or one of our biggest fans, Nick, with that. So let's go ahead and dive into things. We'll start with the NBA draft. 2 weeks ago, and unanimous pick overall, Cade Cunningham. He's been the talk of the NBA draft the entire time. Getting compares to LeBron James already, saying that he's a complete player because of his size, his ball handling skills, all of that. Do you think he is the real deal, or do you think there's another guy that's going to overtake his seat as the best player in this draft?
Well, first of all, before I even get to that, are you familiar with Imani Bates?
Refresh my mind.
Imani Bates, he's got highlight footage. He's like a high school kid. He's got footage on YouTube. Yeah. He's like the next Kevin Durant, basically. Long, can shoot, can dribble, all that stuff, right? So he just actually reclassified for the 2021 class. So he's deciding between the G League and college right now. So he's going to be coming out here pretty shortly. So for the time being, Cade Cunningham is probably the most exciting story as far as young people that are coming into the NBA. But once Imani Bates gets into the league, Imani Bates is going to be the next best thing to walk on the NBA surface. So I'm getting ahead of myself as far as who in this specific draft, but Imani Bates is going to be the next guy. Just so I can clarify that with everybody. I mean, he's going to be he's that dude. Now in this draft, Cade Cunningham, he averaged 20 points per game in college, 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shot 40% from 3. LeBron, I haven't heard LeBron. He's probably more Jason Tatum than LeBron.
Jason Tatum is the one I've heard the most, but like on ESPN, you know how they start saying shit out the side.
What did I tell you about ESPN?
I know, bro. I'm not saying that's like my TMZ of news. I'm just saying that
I feel like it is, man. You reference ESPN a lot. And I have not heard no LeBron James comparisons. So
where's the jump on?
Huh? The jump? Man, what? ESPN?
Okay, exactly. It's an ESPN show. It's strictly basketball.
Whatever. I have not heard LeBron James. That's a little.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the comparisons. Okay, you see, this is where you make me seem like I'm crazy and I'm giving hot takes. I'm saying ESPN said he's more of a Jason Tatum type of guy, though. I agree with that 100%.
And that's where I think he's headed towards, which is not like, but yet his size is good, 6'8", 220. So he's got the frame, he's got the size. He's got the mindset and the mentality. I think he showed up all G'd up and swagged out, and Jalen Rose loves him and stuff. So I think it's going to be a beautiful mystery, though, as to how he's going to be in the NBA, only because of where he got drafted. Now, I always say there's no such thing. There's not too many players to me who are actually bust when they get to the NBA. I feel like a lot of bust are the situations that they get drafted into. So, for example, for the longest time, if you got drafted by the Cleveland Browns, I'm already calling you a bust because you got drafted by the Cleveland Browns. Same thing with the Cleveland Cavs. If you got drafted by the Cleveland Cavs, i.e. Anthony Bennett, you're probably going to be a bust. They got LeBron, they got Kyrie, God bless them. But other than that, certain organizations you get drafted into, you're kind of already killing your career just because you're already there. You're already starting behind the pack. Now, Detroit is not a bad organization. I think they're an organization right now that kind of lacks direction. I don't know what direction they're going into. They have Killian Hayes. They just got Corey Joseph. Now they got Cade Cunningham. So they have good guard play. They have Grant, who they're paying a lot of money to. Sadiq Bey, who was a first team all rookie, if I'm not mistaken, last year. Stewart was a first and second team all rookie last year. They just signed Kelly Olynyk. They got Jahlil Okafor, who was just playing for Team Nigeria. So I don't know if it's a youth movement, if it's a let's try to win. I don't know what direction they're going into. I think he'll be fine. I think he will shine. But kind of like how we're seeing in New Orleans right now with Zion. Zion is a lone wolf over there. They haven't done anything positive for him, and I don't know what direction they're going in New Orleans anymore. Like I've officially I think he's gone. Like you know how typically people stay for the 7 years and sign that second contract. I don't even know if Zion's going to sign that second contract. So my only concern is Cade Cunningham. I don't know if they're going to rely on him too much to be great too early. Because if he's great early and they're just barely missing the playoffs, they're going to be stuck in that little purgatory thing where it's like they're not terrible, but they're not good enough. Kind of like where New Orleans is right now. So I think he's going to be the best player in this draft. Is there a question? You know, maybe Jalen Green can be that guy, but I think Cade Cunningham, just his frame, his body, his game should translate well to the NBA. I just think he might. Hopefully he's not looking for another team in 3 to 5 or 6, 7 years, but don't be surprised the coach is good. You know, like Casey, you know, he's a good coach. But it's just, I don't know, Detroit just, as somebody who spent a lot of his time living in Detroit, it's either hit or miss. They're either a dynasty kind of team or not. They basically have Isaiah Thomas and they can make it to the finals, or they spend the whole 90s. For example, Grant Hill, he was by himself. He was really good, but he couldn't get them over the hump by himself. And they had a lull of just bad basketball. Finally, they got the Big Four and they beat the Lakers. And then they had, a couple years back in the finals, and they haven't been good ever since. So I don't know if this is still part of that process of them sucking, or they can finally be an elite team. But there's never been a middle ground with Detroit from how I see it. So
yeah, I think it's them being elite. It's going to take a while, because if you look at that team, it's super young. It has potential for you to add pieces around it to make it better. But to compete with teams in the East right now, like they're not going to make the playoffs unless like they turn some heads with this young talent.
They're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, unless you can't say it until if it were to happen. Like if it were to happen, I eat crow.
They're not making the playoffs.
Yeah. But I think it lays a good foundation if that point guard they got, Hayes, the French kid,
he's solid
by way of Florida. If he can stay healthy and play on the floor and gel with Cade, I think you'll have a good guard forward tandem right there. I didn't watch a lot of Detroit basketball, so excuse me for like not knowing a lot about them.
They have see, they're both point guards basically.
Yeah, Cade can do it all pretty much.
So yeah, like I said, that's why I heard Luka Doncic comparisons, because he's oversized. I don't think he's going to be. I don't know how much on the ball he's going to be, but the ball needs to be in his hands. And I think Killian Hayes did well with the ball in his hands last year as well. So it's one of those things, like I've seen like LA when they had D'Angelo Russell and Jordan Clarkson. I'm like, is it going to become that kind of thing where they got two pretty solid guards, but they don't know, how to handle both? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing that's going on in Sacramento right now. They got De'Aaron Fox, and then the dude that just drafted last year, whose name
Halliburton.
Yeah. So it's like the same thing. Like Halliburton, we knew he was solid, but I didn't think they were going to draft him. And now they got two solid guys that can handle the rocks. So it's like, is that really working? I don't know.
Yeah, I think like when players like that fall to you, you have to take them though too. Like
Oh
you
yeah, 1,000%. Yeah.
pass on them. Um, I think they'll distribute it evenly amongst the two and whoever else is there as well, and people will know their roles coming into it. And I think one of the things that got the Pistons' eye on uh, Cunningham was his maturity. As young as he is, he has a 2-year-old daughter. He's very unselfish. He speaks very well. He's very team oriented. He's not me, I. I'm trying to steal the show. He's not super flashy. At least I don't think he is, like when on the court or anything like
I'm about
that.
to say, you didn't see him draft night?
Oh yeah, draft night. That's another story. But like on the court, I don't think he's like super flashy all the way. There was complaints that I think at Oklahoma State he was like the only good talent there, and there wasn't enough playmaking around him, so he had to be kind of flashy a bit. But looking at his style of play, I see him as a very complete, open to being a team type of player and a vocal point in that locker room as well. Uh, you need to rally the troops. I think Jerry and Grant will bring that type of veteran leadership there as well. But I
His
also,
play, I've never seen him vocal.
yeah, that's the thing too. I think that, but I also think now he could be expendable now that Cade Cunningham is there too. If they're going to open up the floor more for him, so I don't know. I don't know what the situation there is in Detroit. I just know they've got 3 or 4 good pieces that look good on paper there, and if it can gel and they can get more pieces to put around it, more power to them. But if
Yeah.
not, oh well. I will see if we can have the bad boys all over again, but I doubt that.
That's not.
Uh,
Those kids are not bad boys.
yeah.
Those are some nice guys.
The bad boy era of basketball is done. There's just too much emotional rap and stuff doing to these kids that make them too soft now. So
Now Miami, they still keep that bad boy.
because Pat Riley there.
Pat Riley don't play that.
Pat Riley part of the mafia, man. You know that too.
Still.
You know that. I'm pretty sure there was an episode or there was like a scene in Goodfellas where he was like a guy at the table. He had to be one dude there. I'm pretty sure.
That would not surprise me at all.
All right, so let's talk about the draft. Out of all the teams in that drafted, who do you think had the best draft, and who do you think had the worst draft?
The Orlando Magic. I am so proud of the Orlando Magic. You know, Orlando's similar, kind of like Detroit. It's like they're either really good or they're not really fun to watch at all, you know?
It's a small window for those teams. It's like when they have a good team, it's a small run for it. And then it comes to retaining our players. And what are we going to do? Get rid of them.
Correct. And it's like we had Shaq, and then we sucked. And then we had T-Mac, and then we sucked. And then we had Dwight, and then we sucked. But luckily for them, they don't suck for too long because they'll find a way to like be an 8 seed when they do suck. Vucevic, when he was there, they were able to do okay with him, so it's not like they completely fall off the wagon. But they've had some tough years over the last couple of years, but they've acquired very good talent in the last couple of years, period. So they got a lot of guys on the team. They're like, wow, this is a good player. That's a good player. And then they add somehow Jalen Suggs falls to them at 5.
I don't even think that they knew he was going to fall there.
I'm not like, I'm looking at Cleveland and I understand why they drafted Evan Mobley. Because they already have guard play. Yeah. Like they didn't need Jalen Suggs. They got what's your favorite duo?
My favorite duo, who?
Sexland.
Well, Sex is about to leave, so it's just gonna be Land.
Yeah, but still, they got him. But so I understand. But if they know Sexton's about to leave, then they probably should have drafted Jalen Suggs. But
they're also the Cavs.
But they're also, and that's how I led off what I was saying. It really just depends who you get drafted by. Because, Cleveland, they've been doing this for years where they drafted Anthony Bennett. And I go back and look at that draft. I think Giannis was in that draft and they drafted Anthony Bennett. Like, come on. So the Magic, they finally had, because normally when they make these good picks, they got the first overall pick, Shaq, Dwight. They drafted Chris Webber, traded him for Penny Hardaway. So usually they have a number 1 pick and they turn that into something well. And now they were able to have someone, they were patient. They let Jalen Suggs fall to him at 5 and then go blue. They let Franz Wagner fall to them at 8, he's a very good swing player. Very good defensively, can shoot the ball, kind of like his brother who plays. I think he's with Washington still.
No, he's in
Mo
Orlando.
Wagner.
They're both in Orlando.
Mo's in Orlando now.
He got traded. He got traded to Orlando last year.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. That's dope. That's beautiful. Family affair. I love it. So I think they did a really good job. I think so. Now here where we at with the Magic. They have a ton of young talent.
A lot, and they don't use. Oh God,
ton of young talent. Now they got to figure out
what they're gonna do with Mo Bamba. Just use Mo Bamba, please, for the love of God, man.
Mo Bamba's he's a nice guy. They made a cool song about him or whatever. They got overplayed, but that was a mistake. And then Jonathan Isaac, he can't stay healthy. So there are two bigs that they want to center around. They're just not going to cut it out. I don't think they're going to cut it. I don't think Jonathan Isaac will ever be healthy. And then they obviously lost Vucevic, and Vucevic is a dog, and they lost him. So they have a lot of young guards that they can turn into something else. So what they got to do is figure out, all right, how many of these guys, like Markelle Fultz, he's a project. I don't know what's going to happen with Markelle Fultz, but you got Jalen Suggs now. You gotta let him play. You gotta let him play. He's solid. I'm never too crazy about Gonzaga players, but he's cut a little different. He's cut a little different. So
all Minnesota football too, man.
You said who?
He's Mr. Football in Minnesota too.
On top of that, so shit, if it don't work out, then he can take his ass and go back up Tom Brady for the Bucks. But they got Anthony Cole from UNC. They got Dwayne Bacon, another guard. They have Michael Carter-Williams still on the roster, if I'm not mistaken. Markelle Fultz, RJ Hampton. And then they got Jalen Suggs now. And they got a lot of guard. Terrence Ross, they got to get rid of him. I don't know what's going on with that. But they have a lot of guard play. They got to figure out how to add a big to this mix that's going to work for them. And I think they can be solid.
Carter.
Who?
They got Wendell Carter from the Bulls.
Ain't nobody care about Wendell Carter. Come on, man.
You gotta work with what you got, man. I'm just saying, you're not gonna go out and get Anthony Davis.
Wendell Carter with Chicago, and that's the reason why they're drafting in the top 5. Okay, now Wendell Carter is here in next door to in Orlando. We'll see how that works out, but I think they definitely won draft night. And then my biggest loser that I had two. The Warriors. Not really. I feel like they are built to win now. They already have to worry about bringing back Wiseman next year, coming off of an injury, who was not ready to be in the NBA. I think he was a good rebounder, could score a little bit, but I don't think he was ready. I think he needed probably another year in college. He didn't even have a year in college, so he needed a real year in college or a year in the G League. And then I feel like he just needs to get healthy, and then he needs to work on his game. But now you're adding to this team that should be ready to win now. You had like two of the youngest players in the draft. Jonathan Kuminga, he's a G League guy. To me, he's a project, and he's young. And then they had picked up God, who's the other one? The other guy was Moses Moody. Listen, man, the guy went to Arkansas.
Like
huh?
Say it like Perkins.
Moody. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not crazy about him either. So to me, they got guys that are not ready to win now. They should have traded those 2 picks, and they should have got aggressive. Basically, that's how I thought on draft night. I thought if they were aggressive on draft night, they could have got another veteran to be in that mix. Because now you bring back Clay, bring back Steph. Draymond's going to be back coming off of the Olympics. Andrew Wiggins got better last year. So I feel like they should have either traded Andrew Wiggins and a pick and got a solid piece back, or traded both of those picks and some other assets and got like a real player back. Now, I heard the Ben Simmons thing. If they're going to go bring in Ben Simmons, they would have to get rid of Draymond Green because to me they clog each other's space. But so I think the Warriors shouldn't have drafted basically, and they should have just tried to go win now because at the end of the day, next year in the West, kind of how it was this year. Phoenix, we didn't, not everyone picked Phoenix to make it. It was pretty wide open because there's not a super team in the West. Now we'll obviously talk about free agency, but I still don't think there's a super team in the West still. And I think the West is still pretty kind of open because the super team, quote unquote, they're old, and the Warriors are not that old yet. So to me, they should have just turn that pick or those picks into a player and not somebody who's going to be riding the bench all season or be in and out of the G League all season. So that's just how I feel. And then Minnesota, I don't even know. Why I picked Minnesota as well. I don't even know who they drafted. I don't know if they had a draft. But to me, Minnesota has done nothing well in the last few years. They got players, but they don't know what the hell to do with the players. Like they don't know how. Like I don't know how you have Karl Anthony Towns, how you have Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, and they've had guys. They've had Jimmy Butler before. Like they've had guys, and they can't do anything with it. And I felt like this would probably be the year. Like let me start this thing over. Maybe like let me trade somebody and go get like pieces. Like they need Minnesota. They're like afraid to rebuild, and they're rebuilding, and they have no idea that they're rebuilding. And I feel like they needed to do something, and they didn't do anything, and it's just quiet in Minnesota again. So what's going to happen? They're going to finish in the bottom of the pack once again, and everyone's going to be looking at each other like, whose fault is it? And to me, they have no sense of direction whatsoever. Damn, all these former Minnesota Timberwolves are just rolling over in their grave like, damn, can't believe this is what this city has become. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. I had the Magic too winning the draft. I also had Houston. Houston had a good draft too. They made a lot of trades in the draft, moving around to get players that like they're a young team. They're in rebuild mode, and they're just like, you know what? Let's get young. Let's get a lot of talent all across the board. Let's get.
Well, listen to what you just said. They know they have a plan.
Yeah, they have a plan. Exactly.
It's okay to have young players if you have a plan.
Exactly. No, I agree with that. But like
yeah.
Houston does this all the time. They have a great team, and then they just tear it down and start from scratch and start adding pieces as they go. And somebody takes the cake and runs away with being a star player, and they're looking at Julian Green to be that guy. And then they start building around him. They bring in Dwight Howard for James Harden. They bring in they draft Clint Capella. They get Chris Paul. They get Russell Westbrook. They do all this stuff to make the team better. And they're always in contention. They just can't get over the hump because, there's always the log gap there of LeBron James or whatever it is. But they know they're young. They made a lot of trades to move around and get players that fit their scheme, what they need. And I thought they had a really solid draft. I think Julian Green, if Cade Cunningham was there, was an easy 1 or 2 pick to go in this draft. He's got comparisons to a bigger Allen Iverson. I've heard the way he handles the ball and how explosive he is to it.
Shout out to the GOAT AI.
Yeah, and that's a good comparison to have, man. I saw the kid play his highlights and stuff, and I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of his. I got nothing bad to say about him. But that would probably be my second, if not to just say the Magic, just to piggyback off of you, I would say Houston. And my biggest one, and it just hits home for me, is the Knicks, man. Like we had two first round picks, and we traded them. We traded everything away just to what we do always and move back. We did granted we did get another first round pick next year, which I'm not mad at. But we had 2 solid areas we could get players. We traded back to go back into the second round and get more guys that would just waste their times being bench players.
But but the thing is, y'all didn't need to draft anybody. Y'all needed to add, like you did today. You need to add players that are ready to play now.
Yeah.
At that point where you guys were drafting, there was nobody there anymore that's going to help you guys.
What I like about the guy that we got, what's his name? Wise, the kid from Houston, is he's a shooter. We need shooters. So we can easily tell Reggie Bullock, see you later, have fun in Dallas. You'll get hot during the regular season, but when it comes to making 3-point shots in the playoffs, you go ice cold. So he can take that. It's a good pick, good value there. But I really liked the Kai Jones when they got him. Texas just produces good big men, and I really wanted Kai Jones. But, all these other guys we have on the team, McBride, the other guy, the foreign dude, and I can't think of the other guy's name that we got, but it's another big.
All you need to worry about is the lefty from Canada, the short guy you just got today, D Rose.
I know that, but
your most improved player. Those are the guys you need to worry about.
It's a long season, and D Rose has got some messed up knees, and Kimba's got some messed up knees. So there's a whole lot of things that are not only. I'm just telling you, as a fan of the Knicks, I was hyped for draft night. And when I saw all the moves getting done, and I saw we took this guy and we traded his rights somewhere else.
How can a Knicks fan ever be hyped about draft night? Y'all know y'all don't ever do the draft right.
Yeah, you're right. I'm always hyped for it though.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be an asshole or nothing, but y'all always boo every pick y'all get anyway. So how y'all just see New York fans, y'all just excited to boo.
That's not necessarily true.
Y'all boo every draft.
We did not. We didn't mess up the RJ Barrett draft. We didn't mess up. Well, we got Mitchell Robinson in the second round. I'm not going to dissect drafts, but historically they do have bad drafts. I won't argue there. But lately it's been going good, and Leon Rose is taking over. So hopefully Wild Wild West knows something I don't know, and he wants it. Something about next year is more intriguing to him. So we'll see what's going on there.
We'll see.
So with this draft class, they're already ranking it as one of the better draft classes in the last couple of years. Do you see it as a really good draft class, or do you see it as a?
It's good. I mean, I don't know. It's first of all, it's obviously too early to tell. Mm-hmm. Second of all, it's good, but it's not like an all-timer. I don't think it's 96 or 03 or shit. The draft that we just had with Luka and them, it's not that either to me. So, but I think it's good. I think there's going to be some solid guys who are like later first round picks and early second round that can be have an impact. The top guys, obviously, Cunningham's going to be a dog, but he does play in Detroit. Jalen Green's going to be solid, but Houston's rebuilding. Evan Mobley, he plays in Cleveland. So it's like the teams that they got drafted to, it's like, okay, I mean, and then Scotty Barnes, like I would have taken Jalen Suggs over Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, especially since you got rid of Lowry. Like I thought that would have been a solid move.
So that was Toronto. I don't understand that, but hey, it is what it is. So I don't think it's going to be like, oh my God, this is 03, but it's going to be, it's going to be solid. It's going to be good. These guys, a lot of these guys are going to be starters. A lot of these guys are going to ride the bench, and a lot of guys will never make it to the league, really. So this is going to be one of those drafts. I don't think it's going to be anything special, but it's not going to be anything that's terrible either. So
I agree with you there. All right, let's go into free agency. So free agency is kicked off as of, what was it, Tuesday? It started?
It was probably Monday because it was during my my social media cleanse. Because I got back and looked at my phone. I was like, oh man, all these people got signed.
It was Tuesday because you didn't respond to me on Monday. So it was Tuesday is when it started.
No, it was Monday.
Whatever.
It was Monday. It was Monday. I'm 100% sure it was Monday.
All right. So free agency started. Lakers decide to just blow shit up, and Supreme Dreams did a great skit on it, getting rid of the entire team that he's sick of, all these kids that just don't know their role on the team, that want to fill up the stat sheet, take stupid shots, don't know when to do what they need to do, and says, you know what, you guys are going to the district, and I'm going to get Russell Westbrook. Then I'm going to sign Carmelo. I'm going to get Dwight Howard back. We're going to re-sign Terrence Horton-Tucker. I'll get Malik Monk.
That's the one kid that they kept. THT, I like you, brother.
Because he knows his role, and he got a
you stay your ass down here, brother.
He got a hot little sister too, man. Caruso's gone, man, which was surprising.
I'm gonna miss my dog. Like I said, he's invited to every barbecue across the nation. Nigerian barbecues, if he's about that life too. Whatever he wants, man. Caruso's my guy, man. That's a good dude.
Bring in Carmelo Anthony, bring in Chris Dunn, bring in Trevor Ariza. And I feel like there's one more.
Not Chris Dunn. The other Dunn.
Kendrick Dunn.
Kendrick
Nunn.
Kendrick Nunn. Yeah, Chris Dunn's a different player. Kendrick Nunn.
He's in Boston. Sorry, I've been listening to Tony Sports talk about him, and they really love him. So whatever. But it's a new look. It's a new look Lakers team, and everyone's starting to bash them, saying that they're too old. You know, they're old. These guys are old. They can't hang with the new talent out there now. Do you see it as being old, or how do you see it as?
See, two things can be true. Like I always like to say, two things can be true. Two things can be true. Yeah, they're obviously they're old. I mean, it's not an elephant in the room. It's common sense. They got 8 guys over the age of 32 or something like that. It's old, but it's not like, I think it's when we're talking old, but we're talking about Russell Westbrook, who's not really old. Russell Westbrook plays faster, more aggressively, and with more reckless abandon than somebody who's 22 years old. So I'm not counting him as old. AD is not old. He just gets hurt a lot, but he changed his nutritionist and his trainer. So look, if he's doing whatever he needs to do to stay healthy, then by all means, he's not old either. And then we're talking about LeBron. Has LeBron been nicked up with injuries the last couple of years? The high ankle sprain, the groin injury? Absolutely. That's obviously something that you need to look into. But you go get a Russell Westbrook so he doesn't have to be on the ball 24/7 anymore, so that he can actually load manage while he's playing. Because LeBron don't load manage and sits for 2 weeks. LeBron's way of load managing is he takes plays off, which is, I understand, but he at least is on the court. So, and he's going to have Russell Westbrook, who's going to be reckless abandon all day long. So he takes pressure off of older LeBron. Now, Melo, yeah, he's 37. Fantastic. He knows his role, though. He comes off the bench. He's going to get you 12, 13 points a game. His three-point shot has increased. His low post moves, everything. His offensive game is still stellar. So they're not asking him to go run up and down the court and play fast break basketball. No, give him the ball in the block and let him go to work, or spot up and hit an open corner 3. Simple basketball. You don't have to be you don't have to be old or young to do that. That's just common sense basketball. And then they have, outside of that, who else is old? Dwight. Dwight's job is to come off the bench, get 10 rebounds, get 6 rebounds, and then go back on the bench. He's not playing 50 minutes a night. Trevor Ariza. I don't think Trevor Ariza is going to get on the court that much either. So they're old, but they got veterans. They're not old guys who are still trying to make a name for themselves. They're wise veterans. Yeah, and then to supplement that, they got young THT, young Malik Monk, young Kendrick Nunn. AD, like I said, he's still in his 20s. He's not old. Who am I missing? Wayne Ellington is not a geezer. Wayne Ellington is not, he's right there. He's teetering old, but he's not old.
He just stands in the 3-point line anyway. So,
and that's all they need him for. Hit 40% of your threes. So and then Kent Bazemore, he's not old either. So
he's in his 30s. He's 32.
Bro, 32 is not, okay. If he's old,
it's not old. But I'm not arguing with you that.
Yeah. So here's my argument back to people who keep thinking this team is old, because look, all the guys on the Warriors, the big 3, all in the 30s. The Brooklyn Nets, I think Kyrie turned 30 this year, or is turning 30, or is around there. They're all the same age. Like they're older too. They're in their 30s, coming off of injuries. Chris Paul probably should have been the MVP last year at 36, and he figured out how to just play healthily the whole way through. He had a little shoulder stinger in COVID, but that has nothing to do with age. One was a freak accident, and that got fixed, and the other one was health related. So, and Chris Paul made it through the year. So I think the way NBA players train their bodies now compared to like 15 years ago, the way their diets are now compared to 15 years ago, the way they're, I just saw pictures today of Andre Drummond and Joel Embiid dapping each other up. Joel Embiid is at Philadelphia Sixers training facility. Like, these guys are already back in the facilities. They're trying to stay in shape. Like, they care about their bodies more. So two things can be true. Are they older? Yes. Age, but age is nothing but a number, baby. That's all it is. So I think they'll be fine. They're not too old.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. I agree with you 100% what you said. I think LeBron was sick of playing basically babysitter for these kids out there on the floor.
And he hates kid like he doesn't hate kids obviously, but he hates playing with younger players who bro. I watch Kyle Kuzma and he just talk about somebody who I have more grays on my hair because of watching Kyle Kuzma because he has the talent, but he thinks he's young-minded and doesn't know how to. But he was given an opportunity last year when LeBron James and Anthony Davis were both riding the bench because they were hurt. Kyle Kuzma had every opportunity to take the reins and become the man. Couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do it. So, but Russell Westbrook, if something happens to AD and LeBron, you think Russell Westbrook's gonna be scared to become the man? No. So it's like you get you somebody who has it up here mentally. Kuzma don't have it like that mentally.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these guys too, they've either been to the finals or they've played with greatness, and been around greatness to see how to play the game. Malik Monk obviously was in Charlotte under Michael Jordan's watch, and Michael Jordan really liked him. I think there's like a video of him like hitting him in the back of the head when he missed a shot and shit like that.
Michael Jordan loved Malik Monk. It was weird.
Yeah, it was very weird. I feel like they didn't use his talent the right way, but that's another talk. But I think, even Kent Bazemore, he played with Kobe, he played with Steph and Clay and the Splash Brothers. He may have a ring. I'm not 100% sure.
No, I don't know if he has a ring, but I know he played in Atlanta when LeBron James was running through the East.
Mm-hmm.
Bazemore was one of those guys on that Atlanta team that was actually really good. So
yeah,
he had success.
He got his notice when he was with the Lakers, though. Was his first thing. Was his first go around with the last leg of Kobe. But what the thing is, these guys know their role. They're not going to go over there and overtake LeBron or anything like that. That's just a quick way for you to get traded. But they know their roles.
Kendrick, if I had to guess, anyone's going to get traded by All-Star break, it's going to be Kendrick Nunn.
And that's a shame because he's a good player, and I thought that he would retain him. But you know what, they blew it up too. So let's jump into that. Let's go with the new look and additions of the East. The Bulls decided to make some moves. They went and got Lonzo Ball and signed DeMar DeRozan. And I mean, if you want to throw your dog Caruso in there too,
they got my dog Caruso now.
So the Bulls are looking rejuvenated and young, and looking like they're going to jump back into the Eastern Conference playoffs.
And they got Vucevic from last year's trade, which I love. I love.
Vucevic, I feel, is like the most underrated player in the NBA. Like no one gives him the props.
No, he's not underrated. He's made All-Star games.
Yes, but people don't just like talk about him enough.
Like he playing in Orlando. Orlando's trash.
Prove my point. Thank you. Prove my point. So, anyways, the Bulls decided to look new. The Heat go out and decide to trade for Kyle Lowry and start bringing in some veteran players to put around.
Why don't one call them old? He's 35.
Yeah, exactly. And he's fat too. But get PJ Tucker. Oladipo's committed to them as well. They've got
PJ Tucker old too. Like damn, Markieff Morris is old too. Yeah, Oladipo can't stay healthy.
But know their roles, man. And then you put them around the young players, and the young players are the ones that want to learn. The only guy that I just don't know where his head is at is Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, I don't know if he wants to be great or he just wants to flex with his girl on the booty.
He's trying to get on this IG stuff. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he's trying to be.
God bless him. Hey, do what you got to do. But now, listen. Those two teams that you just mentioned are very intriguing for different reasons. Miami. See, Pat Riley. We're talking about Pat Riley. This isn't Pat Riley's type of team, though. Like this is the picture when you pull up a picture of a Pat Riley kind of team. This is it. Tough. You know, annoying players on the team. Like Victor Oladipo, when he's healthy, he's tough, and that dude can do a lot of things on the court. You know, it's just I pray for him to get healthy because it sucks to be him, and you know he has to rely on his singing now because his legs can't hold up. Jimmy Butler, you know what he brings to the table. That's everyday tough, mentally tough, you know, athletics and in shape. And then you got PJ Tucker coming off of a ring, who's tough. You got Kyle Lowry.
Dogs. We got some dogs.
They got dogs. That's what it is. Like PJ Tucker said, they got dogs, and that's what Miami is always built on. look, we just got to have some dogs, and we're gonna have a dog in the fight. That's all they need, is some dog, and they need a superstar to take them there. Is Jimmy Butler a superstar? He's on that cusp. I think in that NBA Finals, what he did against LeBron, he showed me a lot that he can be that. Yeah, I think you can call him a borderline superstar. He's not like,
I think Jimmy Butler is like an accountability guy, because I compare him to like the Ice Cube of the NBA. He gives that look to people when he knows, like when you know you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's like, I'm not gonna go out there and score no 40 points. I did that already. I've done those. He's like, I need team basketball around me. And I need these guys to get better around me to make the game easier. So he whips out that look, or he'll call you out in practice and play with the second string or the third string and whoop your ass, and then say, I'm out of here. And I think that's what Pat Riley likes about him. Now he's got Kyle Lowry, who's out of ring, and Jimmy's hungry for one. And he's got some veteran guys in there that have rings or been to the finals that can whoop the younger boys into shape with them too. And they all know their roles. They all know.
They got Bam still. They got
Duncan Robinson.
So that was gonna be my next point. How do you? They've been so gung ho this last year and change. They refuse to make any moves that include Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero. They were able to acquire all of this talent: Victor Oladipo, Kyle Lowry, Pat, like I said, PJ Tucker, all these dudes, without getting rid of their two hot shots. So that part's impressive. Now, are they going to be able to step it up this year and be what Pat Riley wants them to be? That remains to be seen. But Jimmy loves Tyler Hero, so he's going to be on Tyler Hero this year. I think this year we'll probably see him kind of scale it back a little bit. He was right in that energy of making it to the NBA Finals, and I think Tyler Hero just needs to scale it back and just worry about basketball. And I think Jimmy Butler will be able to get him to do that again. Same with PJ Tucker, same with Kyle Lowry too. That leadership skill that they bring as well. I think another big thing that I always pay attention to, because we're talking about Chicago next, playing in the Olympics. Bam Adebayo having the opportunity to go play in the Olympics. When I always see players come back from the Olympics and they've become much better NBA players, because you're surrounded by great NBA talent, and you're putting on for the world now. So I think you come back with a different kind of swag, a different kind of attitude. I think this is going to be a very good, next year is going to be a very good year for Bam Adebayo. He's obviously already an all-star and everything like that, but I think he takes that next step into being more of more of a dominant force down low for the team. So I think Miami's, much to the chagrin of me, they've passed Philly as far as the top tier teams in the East. I still got Brooklyn, Milwaukee, in Miami. I think they've officially passed Philly now, past Atlanta, past New York, if you're gonna ask me, because I think they got the dogs. Now they got to stay healthy. Because last year they dealt with a lot of COVID and a lot of health issues and then injuries and stuff. But I think if they stay healthy this year, and the Delta variant don't whoop their ass, then I think Miami should be a solid team next year. Now Chicago, I'm not. I don't. A lot of people are high on them. Will they make the playoffs? Yeah, maybe. I think more of a play-in than a playoff. I don't know, because the other guy, Zach LaVine, he's also in the Olympics. So to me, I've been waiting for him to take that next step. I think talent-wise and skill, he could be that dude. He could really be that kind of a player. He obviously has the athleticism. He has the jump shot. Defensively, he's not great, but athleticism makes up for a lot of people's defensive woes. So, and he's got good size. So I think Zach LaVine could be that guy. But the problem that I have with Chicago, they got too many guys that like Orlando and teams like that. They got a lot of guards, a lot of wings and stuff. Like DeRozan's a wing guy, can't shoot threes. Slasher. Zach LaVine's a slasher but can shoot. They have Lonzo Ball, who I got to figure out how that's going to work with those two. And then they brought in Caruso for $37 million over the next 3 years, I believe. And I know they obviously have to put him on the court. and they still got Kobe White. And they drafted Ayo Dosunmu or whatever, how do you say his name?
That's what I wanted.
Which who I love from Illinois. They drafted him too. So it's like they got a lot of guard play, and then they got Vucevic. So it's like, I don't know. I'm a little kind of skeptical, just a little bit, trying to figure out, what lineups they're gonna put on the floor and stuff like that. But talent will be there, but will they turn that into a playoff seed? Brooklyn, Miami, Milwaukee, Philly, Atlanta, New York, Boston, that's already 7. So, and then Washington made it last year. We'll see. Charlotte was in a playing game. Indiana's better. So there's a lot of, the East is not terrible. The East has a lot of depth. And I don't know if Chicago is that much better than Indiana or that much better than Boston at all. They're not better. I don't think they're better than Boston yet either. So they're not better than New York. They're not better than a lot of those teams I just mentioned. So they have an opportunity. I'm just not 100% sold on them yet. To me, they're going to be kind of like the Orlando Magic were with Vucevic, which is like a fringe 8 seed, but that 8 seed can very, very well be a 7 or an 11 kind of thing, where I don't think they're going to be terrible. I think they'll finish around 500 unless Levine takes that next step. We'll see. We'll see. I like DeRozan a lot too, but San Antonio struggled with DeRozan too. And they had LaMarcus Aldridge for a while, and they had Patty Mills, and they had.
But that was a really, really young team with talent that was trying to be produced and still not.
Chicago's not young.
Chicago is young, but you're seeing the talent do well. Like Kobe White is doing good. He's doing.
But how is now? You brought it. You have Kobe White and Lonzo Ball.
Can I say my stuff now? Like, let me talk. You're grilling me like I'm the one who threw the rabid raccoon in the room to go fight you, man. Like, let me just talk.
I just like to come at America. That's all.
I get it, man. Like the Heat are set for good things, man. They've got a bunch of dogs on the team. They've got the X factor really to me. Like, you decided to keep Duncan Robinson. Everybody wanted to go get Duncan Robinson, but Pat Riley has a hard on for him, and he kept him for $90 million over 4 years. More power to you, man. Kid's undrafted, highest paid contract for an undrafted player. I'm not mad at it. He knows his role. He can shoot threes. He can shoot spot up jumpers and, get his easy 14, 15 points a night and collect a paycheck. And he doesn't bitch about anything. Tyler Hero's the X factor though, man. Like, just, we all want to see him come out of his shell, what we saw in the bubble. But I think, like you said, Jimmy's going to be the one that has to pull that out of him, and all these rings around him now are going to be like, damn, I want to get one of those now. Mm-hmm. I'm sick of taking all these little cute pics of my little Instagram girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. Let me play some basketball now and get my head out of my ass. Take notes, Kuzma, by the way, as well. But a lot of notes. Yeah, but the Bulls, I agree with you 100%. Like, on paper, they look great, with all their signings and stuff. But now it comes down to all this gelling you have to do with these players. Like, honestly, I wanted to see DeRozan and Lowry team up in LA or in Miami and get that friendship tandem going on and bring some more people on and maybe make a new banana boat in Miami or whatever you want to do over there.
Banana boats.
Yeah. So he signs in Chicago. That's a good veteran leader right there to have on the team, be more vocal. Lonzo Ball, like, everybody dogs him, and then now they're praising him because he had a better second half of the year, which he did. But, like, we don't know what Lonzo Ball we're going to get. Was he just unhappy that he was playing in a small market and now he's in a big market like Chicago? Are we going to get a better player out of Lonzo Ball now? I mean, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I'm praying for the better for him. I don't want to wish bad on anybody. And then, you had a lot of faith in this kid, Kobe White. You kind of like log jammed him now into this team. That what are you going to do with his talent now? And you have all these other young guys on the team that are, decent players. Like you said, Ayo, I think he's more of a small forward, but now he's in a gap too to try and do well, but maybe it's just a teaching curve for him for this. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think it comes down to gelling, and Zach LaVine. Like, I like the guy. I think he has a lot of talent. I just think the Bulls rely too much on him to do everything. And everyone talks about him as like the most underrated player in the NBA, but I don't think he's a superstar. I think he's a guy that needs help, and they finally got him help, and let's see how he does with the help. But I think it's like you said, the Orlando, maybe an 8th seed, maybe playing seed, something like that. But they're gonna have to gel and get together and play good basketball, man. I like the signings, but it's just how many more guards? It's like the Knicks with our big men. How many more big men do we need? How many more guards do they need?
Yeah. At some point, you realize, I think we have enough. I think we have enough.
I mean, we can even throw the Knicks in there because you said, hey, let's talk about it on the pod. I'll say we got Kemba Walker, and I'm a happy man.
I'm gonna give you free range. Say what you got to say, man.
All I'm gonna say is I'm happy that we re-signed a lot of the players on the team. We kept Nerlens Noel. We kept Alec Burks. We kept Rose, and then we get Kemba Walker, who decides to go on a buyout, paying him $8 million annually. I've been talking with Tony Sports all day about this. It's actually a good thing because if he sucks, it's an easy trade chip for us to get rid of. He's not that expensive, so I'm not mad with it. He's coming back home.
You're excited.
I'm excited because we all know what Cardiac Kemba did in the Garden. Are we going to get that? We may get 1 or 2 shots like that in a game from him where he hits a buzzer beater or something. Maybe they win a game. Maybe it's a halftime. We don't know. But I think coming home for players and especially New York, bro, especially New York, there's something about playing for your hometown team in the Knicks and just doing well. So I hope he does well. I think it's a good veteran leader to have there on the team as well because the team is relatively young outside of Derrick Rose. So having him and Derrick Rose there as successful guards, they can get in RJ Barrett's head, pick his brain, see where he's at on stuff, make him better. And I'm happy with it. I really am. We didn't shit the bed on signing a huge free agent. And I'm okay with that. I'd rather go into next year doing that, develop this talent, develop the chemistry, see who we're going to keep, see who we're going to get rid of, and just make the playoffs again. Keep making me happy. Make the playoffs and win a series. That's what I want this year. That's what I want. We made the playoffs, now win a series. That's what I want.
You want to see some steady improvement there, huh?
I do.
Well,
I'd be happy just making the playoffs though. Consistency is key for me.
Here's my thing. Cardiac Kemba was like a decade ago.
It was.
Okay. Those Charlotte years are behind us. That first year in Boston, he was, this version of Kemba Walker that we have now is a good player. But if you guys were to go against Atlanta again in the first round, I think that you get the same exact result. I think Trae Young still cooks y'all for 40 a game. I think John Collins is still going to be getting easy alleys, and I don't think anything changed for you guys really. I think you guys got better scoring, but I don't know. I'm not. Look, I think next year, like I said, Miami.
Defense, though. Like we don't need defense. That's the thing. Like we have good defensive players, and we need shooters. We needed shooters, so I'm okay with it.
There's a difference. Kemba is a scorer.
This is a new Kemba. This is a Kemba we're not going to rely on to be the one now. Our one is
the way New York Knicks fans are celebrating him. I feel like y'all just got like Kyrie Irving. That's the way y'all need to like.
That's them. That's
but
them.
The problem. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about. I'm giving it to you straight right now.
I made this podcast for fucking Knicks fans. Okay, this is for them.
Listen to me. So again, I don't think it changes life. I think you guys are going to be more fun to watch on Tuesday nights when there's nothing else to watch on TV. But again, if you guys would go against Atlanta again in the first round, I think the same exact result will happen. Miami got better, so you're not going to be better than Miami. Milwaukee's still going to be there.
I never said any of this.
But but here's the problem: you want to win a playoff series, you don't got much. You're going to be a.
The season hasn't started. Nobody's been injured yet. You don't know what the lay of the land looks like. Okay.
All right.
I'm just saying make the playoffs. Did I say we're going to win the ship?
No,
No,
no, no. I just I like to see the Knicks do well. Okay, it's great for basketball.
But I believe it was a great mind that once told me, and then he decided to make a show with me called the Fair Weather Podcast. He said, "You can't win a championship without a superstar."
And you still don't have one.
You said that.
You still don't have a superstar.
We don't. Exactly. Okay. We don't have a superstar. So
all right.
I expect to win.
Okay.
If Kawhi Leonard would have signed, and then I said we're winning. We're winning.
Oh yeah. Not this year because you're not playing, but next year, oh yeah, 1,000%. Y'all got a chance. But not this. So I don't want to be the negative Nancy and bearer of bad news. I'm just saying temper your expectations to maybe another first round exit. I don't know.
I'd be okay with that, man. I'd be okay.
You want to see improvement.
I do want to see improvement, but I want to see consistency. I would love to see consistency. When you're in the playoffs and then not making the playoffs and being an embarrassment.
That won't happen. That won't happen. All right. That won't happen.
I don't think either.
I promise you that.
But then I get greedy. Then I want to see them take it to the next one, and then to the next one.
As you should, as a fan, you should get greedy.
I should, but they're nowhere near that yet. They're at least make the playoffs for me in this point, because they almost missed the playoffs. They almost went to the play-in, so they made the playoffs, and I didn't have a heart attack. So I'm okay with that, man. They should have beat Atlanta, but we didn't see what Atlanta had under they were the sheep or the wolf in sheep's clothes, basically. So I'm not mad at it. But since we said Kawhi's name, we're deciding where he's going to end up. We're talking about loyalty to franchises. Chris Paul said, "Run it back. I'm coming back to the Suns," and he's the greatest monopoly player in basketball. Like he can secure a bag.
He figured it out.
Mike Conley said, "I'm coming back to." John Collins, they decided to say, "Hey, man, sorry for dicking you over all year. We'll throw the bag at you now." Bobby Portis could have went and got more money on the market, but he's the biggest fan favorite. I think he's the second biggest favorite player on the Bucks outside of Giannis. So,
and that might even be debatable.
It might be debatable, but he got Bobby chance all over the place, man. So he decides to stay there. So do you think Kawhi is listening to offers?
No.
Yeah, I agree 100% that Kawhi is not listening to offers.
Listen, man, Kawhi's only concern right now is getting his knee right. So he gonna sign a 1-and-1, gonna get paid by the Clippers for the next year for him to just get healthy. And then next year we're gonna have the same exact story we had this summer. And then he's gonna see, all right, let me see how they do without me. And then he'll be like, all right, I'm staying, or I'm gonna take my ass to Philadelphia or something. I don't know, but no, I don't think that's the top of his list right now. So I don't think he really cares. I think he's just, just trying to get money. The Clippers are gonna pay him, but he probably sign a 1-and-1 and do like what he won't go the KD route where he was already out with the Achilles and he signed with Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. The difference, because KD signed that deal early. That was already in the works. Soon as free agency opened, he was already in Brooklyn. There is nowhere for Kawhi to go anymore. It's over. Like, he's gonna
bag.
Huh?
No one's throwing a bag at him right now.
At this moment right now, his only
Sacramento might. They're like, we'll get you. He's like, nah.
Man, his best option is to stay. First of all, he wouldn't have left a championship organization in Toronto, a team he just brought a title, because he wanted to go home to LA, only to go to Sacramento and be in hell. Like, no.
Exactly.
If he's going to be anywhere in Cali, it's going to be in Los Angeles, and it's going to be with the Clippers. And then if they screw this shit up, then he's going to the Lakers in 5 years. I don't know. But outside of that, I think he's a Clipper right now and might be a Clipper for life.
Yeah, I agree too, man. And if there's anybody I feel bad for in Sacramento, it's Buddy Hield. They like got his dick really hard and said, "You're about to go to the Lakers."
Listen, listen. You know who I feel bad for, and I don't really feel bad for, is Dennis Schroeder, because Dennis Schroeder's out here turned down bread. He turned down bread, and now his best option is going to be he signs for less, and he gets a sign and trade to Sacramento for Buddy Hield. That's what I think is going to happen.
I wouldn't hold it against him.
And if Dennis Schroeder ends up in Sacramento, I'm going to laugh my ass off, because that's the last place any NBA player right now wants to end up at. You want to talk about purgatory? No, that's not even purgatory. That's hell. Like, that is that is just damn. Why am I freaking here? So Dennis Schroeder, man, and I told you how I felt about Schroeder before, man. He don't play winning style of basketball. He just
6'10".
thinks he's better than he really is, and then that little gold patch in his hair kind of just annoys me. And then, he's
Yeah,
talking.
Dennis Schroeder, like I don't get it, man. You should have signed that contract. You're not going to get that type of
Oh,
stuff.
he must be pissed off.
The Knicks don't even. We have too many guards.
Well,
don't even call that
y'all got
boy.
Kemba now. So that if y'all didn't get Kemba and y'all got Schroeder, I would have clowned you.
I would have too, man. I don't.
You.
The kid has talent, but he's just not a starter, and he needs to know that. Like that's.
I mean, he could be a starter for Sacramento for for a bad team. But nah. Dennis Schroeder got to take less and go get that sign and trade, or go sign a vet, or he needs to be petty and go sign a little baby deal with Brooklyn and go win a championship over in Brooklyn. And if you look at the list of names that are still available, you got Iguodala, Danny Green, Schroeder, Kelly Oubre, Josh Hart, Markkanen, Reggie Jackson. All of them might sign with Brooklyn if you think about it. They got room.
I hope Josh Hart doesn't. I hope LeBron brings Josh Hart back to the Lakers, man. That would be great.
I think whoever they bring in next will probably be a big guy. If it's not Buddy Hield, it'll probably be a big, because outside of I don't know what we want to consider AD, but the only centers are Marc Gasol's old ass and Dwight Howard's old ass. I think they need like a young, athletic, big guy that can just go foul people and block shots.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold it against him.
Get rebounds.
All right, so let's shift the talk. Let's talk football now.
Let's talk some NFL football. That's what I've been waiting for.
So we talked
the best division, South. The most fun division right now, the AFC South.
It's a headache and a half, man, of all the stories going on there. So
I love it.
We did NFC South last week, so we're gonna do AFC South. And we're gonna break it down. What team do you want to start with first?
Whatever order you want it in, I got it.
All right, let's go Colts since they're the most recent in the headlines.
Talk about the Colts.
So the Colts, we all know Carson Wentz is down. There's QB play. Who we're going to sign now? We're going to just trust our backups. There's words that Nick Foles could go over there because he has a good relationship with them. But running down, we have key additions to the Colts. We have an injured Carson Wentz, who's out 5 to 12 weeks.
First of all, what the hell is 5 to 12 weeks?
Such a weird.
When I saw that, I'm like, so y'all just don't know what the hell's going on. That's what we had in Philly. We're like, we don't really know, guys. It could be 5. It could be the whole season.
Yeah, we'll throw some numbers out there and make some people just happy with them.
Make Vegas happy.
Yeah. They signed QB Brett Hundley, who has always been a backup everywhere he's been. They re-signed Marlon Mack. They re-signed T.Y. Hilton. They signed offensive tackle Eric Fisher. Don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to be ready to go for the season, but it's a good pickup in my books, I think, if he's healthy. They re-signed Xavier Woods, who was he had a bounce back year with the Colts as opposed to when he was with Minnesota on the last year. Key departures, though. Old man Rivers retires. Jacoby Brissett shipped off. Trey Burton, who was brought in on a big deal, decides to not resign, or I don't know where he's at. Anthony Costanzo said, I'm done here. I'm gone. I'm retiring. Justin Houston, he's in Baltimore now. Malik Hooker, he's in Dallas. And then safety Tavon Wilson is gone too as well. And the notable draft picks, Kwity Paye, Deo Odebindo, and Sam Ellinger, like the 3 draft picks I put on the board that seem to stick out to me the most. So breaking down this Colts team, I think a lot of people had them as possibly one of the favorites to either win the division or maybe be in a wild card spot or something like that, with all the talent that they still retained and replaced. Mm-hmm. We got rid of, Phillip Rivers retired. We bring in a Carson Wentz, who's kind of like a question mark. Is he really, really good? Is he really, really bad? Is he just mediocre? Or is he just an injury-prone fuck, which we're kind of seeing now? He's an injury-prone fuck right now. So spit it, man. Give me your takes on the Colts. Break it down, because it's like an ongoing saga whenever you turn on like sports news and you see the Colts in it.
So the Indianapolis Colts a month ago were like my dark horse team to make it to the Super Bowl in the AFC. I think last year they had going into this season actually. So whenever I look at offensive line grades, I always look at Pro Football Focus. So they actually have the second ranked offensive line going, and I'm big on O lines and D lines. So they have the second ranked offensive line going into the 2021 season on Pro Football Focus, led by Quentin Nelson. Correct? Quentin Nelson is
5 to 12 weeks as well.
So if Quentin Nelson is out 5 to 12 weeks, you can go ahead and take your little piece of paper that you had and throw it in the trash, because not only is your quarterback hurt, and it happens to be Carson Wentz, who's always hurt. I can tell you firsthand. They got rid of Jacoby Brissett, one of your key departures, who would have been the perfect guy to be the backup for this situation. And Phillip Rivers retired. Now, if Phillip Rivers returns, because it's on the table where he can come back out of retirement and like just run it back one more time, right? If he comes out of retirement, I think that helps. But we got to see what the hell's going on with Eric Fisher. We got to see what the hell's going on with Quentin Nelson. If those two guys are compromised, it can't play, then this is it's not good for a quarterback situation, because Eason's not ready, Ellinger's not ready, Brent Hundley is never going to be ready, and then Phillip Rivers, if he has no one to protect him, then what the hell is he coming back for? Because he's gonna get hurt too. And then I've heard Nick Foles thing. If they bring in Nick Foles, they might as well cut Carson Wentz, because that's going to ruin the locker room, and Carson Wentz is going to be asking out again. But they traded all this stuff to get him. So it's like, damn, I don't want to mess up his confidence even more. And then I heard Garoppolo is an option, because Trey Lance looks really good in camp. They already gave up so much to get Carson Wentz. So their only option to me is pray that they can get Phillip Rivers to come back. And then Quentin Nelson somehow is available by week 1 or 2 at the latest. If that's the case, then I think this team has a shot. Defensively, they're a top 10 defense. Like I said, they have a top tier offensive line normally when healthy, obviously. We saw in the Super Bowl what an unhealthy offensive line looks like. They got some good weapons. They got pretty decent receiving core. Like I said, the defense is good, but they got a lot of question marks as far as injuries. So I'm concerned. I am concerned. What I thought about them 2 weeks ago compared to what I think about them now has completely changed. Yep. Completely changed. Then I also looked at their schedule, and it's brutal. And out the gate, that shit is brutal. And if they don't have a quarterback and somebody to protect that quarterback, this could get ugly very quickly. And damn it, dare I say, this could be a bust year for them. So I'll go ahead. I'll wait to do my prediction.
Yeah, we'll give our predictions on what their record will be right at the end. Let me just talk a little bit. I think the safest bet is to try and entice Phillip Rivers out of retirement. And then when Carson Wentz is ready to go, like you slowly rehab that. If it's a major injury like they're saying it is, or whatever they're trying to hide, you can't just rush him out there just to get hurt again.
Question.
Apparently he was playing with a broken foot or something in high school, they were saying, and it just kept riding him out there or some bullshit.
I have a question for you. So what if Phillip Rivers is balling? Do you still bring back Carson Wentz to play?
As much as he doesn't want to see it, man, like it's got to happen, man. If you're winning with the guy, why mess up a good thing, right?
That's tough.
It's the hard thing. It just sucks as it's Carson Wentz that it would happen to again.
Again, bro. If I'm Carson Wentz and I'll probably retire.
I think if I'm Phillip Rivers, I assure him, I'm like, listen, man, they brought me here to do my job. I'm doing my job. When I start to slip, it's all yours to take from me.
We're talking about a guy. Phillip Rivers, we know how he is, competitive as hell, right? You think he's gonna be nice to Carson Wentz? Oh, I'm just doing my job. No, I am a future hopeful future Hall of Famer, and you can't stay healthy. So I'm gonna do my job, and I'm about to go out here and kill. That's right. So if they bring back Phillip Rivers, that means they're all in on Phillip Rivers. That's how I see it.
I agree too. But you've also invested a lot in this, so you gotta baby him as well. I don't think they're going to try and bring back Phillip Rivers. I think Phillip Rivers is a head coach now of a high school program, and he's loving it. He can coach like 3 of his kids, of his 32 kids that he has out there. He can say dang nabbit all he wants. And I think you have to gamble with Jacob Eason or Brett Hundley or Sam Elliott.
Starting off 0-6.
Yeah, and you're going to start off very, very slow. But you're going to have to rely on that defense. You're going to have to rely on your run game, and you're going to have to rely on some tight end play, if anything. But I'm also concerned as well too. I'm very concerned because I had them as a sneaky contender for a deep playoff run in the AFC, but with this, we don't know the time frame. It's 5 to 12. We don't know. It could be 5. It could be 8. It could be 12. We don't know the numbers.
Bro, so, it could be smoke, and it could be the whole season. I don't know.
It could be some Giannis shit, like, oh, we thought he tore his shit, and then he came out there and balled.
No, but Giannis is a grown-ass man. Carson Wentz, again, now that he's not an Eagle anymore, I can say what the hell I want about Carson Wentz. That dude is not mentally strong whatsoever. So he might even be feeling okay in 5 weeks, but he's so mentally fucked right now that it's not good. And if they do bring in another quarterback, especially Nick Foles, oh my God.
Or Phillip Rivers. Jesus.
Phillip Rivers, I think he'll be okay with because it's Phillip Rivers. And he'll be like, all right, whatever, man. It's Phillip Rivers. If Nick Foles, the guy that stole his shine in Philly, won us a Super Bowl, and now he's following me to Indianapolis with the same coaching staff that got him there, bro, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I agree. I think Nick Foles at this point too is just kind of pointless too. I just think it's a name and a face. Right. And
Nick Foles can't even beat out Andy Dalton for the second string in camp.
Exactly. All right. So what's your predicted record for the Colts?
God, without a QB, 8-9 without a QB, because their defense is still good, their running game is still good. So that should at least get you some wins. That should at least get you to 8.
The worst you have them at is 8-9.
At the very worst.
And if they had a QB going into week 1,
shit, 11-6, 12-5 at the worst, 12-5.
11
is no. When I look at the schedule, I have 11-6. I have if I was doing Vegas, I'd be looking at 11.5 as my over/under kind of thing, and then I'll kind of bet it on the 11.5. Without a quarterback, I bring that number down to like 8.
Yeah, I have them at 8 without a quarterback, and with healthy, I put them at 10-7. Is what I put them at.
Which is that's again their schedule is tough. The schedule is tough, but they with a good quarterback and the system that they have in place, there's no reason why they can't go out and win at the most 12 games, maybe 11, like around that number. But yeah, we'll see in a couple of weeks what's going on and who they've decided to bring in as far as quarterback. We're gonna see preseason games coming up here shortly. So we don't even know how. I mean, Jacob Eason's a kid, though. I'm not asking the kid to go run my franchise. So We'll see.
All right, let's jump into another team. Let's go Titans.
Let's go Titans.
So we're looking at a new lay of the land for the Titans. They were kind of like the Colts last year. They were both offensive heavy and defensive heavy, kind of matched up very well together. I think now they went out and got more offense when I'm looking at it.
If you go,
let me give you the lay of the land real quick, okay?
They got players on defense too.
They do, but they also lost a lot of players.
They lost a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like now we don't know what these other guys are going to present. So key additions, they go out and trade for Julio Jones. Obviously, everybody knows that. The big star wide receivers.
Julio's there?
You ain't know?
I ain't here.
Wide receiver Josh Reynolds, they sign him. They get linebacker Bud Dupree, who's now hurt, and they get cornerback Janoris Jenkins. Key departures, there's a lot here. They lost wide receiver Corey Davis, yay. Wide receiver Adam Humphries. Big focal point on the offense and tight end Jonnu Smith. Offensive tackle and first round head case Isaiah Wilson traded to the Dolphins later to get cut because he's an idiot. Linebacker Jadeveon Clowney is gone. Cornerback Malcolm Butler. Adoree Jackson is gone. Desmond King is gone. Kenny Vaccaro is gone. And your kicker, future Hall of Famer Steven Gostkowski is gone. Draft picks, they took a gamble on an injured Caleb Farley, and then they took offensive tackle Dylan Randers. So those are the big acquisition moves for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it on defense, I'm sure there's other players there that stick out, but there's a lot. You basically just gutted the entire secondary when I look at it. Your entire secondary is gone now. So Caleb Farley, if he's healthy, I mean, he's a good start, but who else is going to step up there into those roles?
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at their defense, it definitely got gutted. They got gutted. They got Bud Dupree.
He's hurt.
And then they had Kevin Byard, who I really do like. Caleb Farley, he's a rookie. We're gonna have to see how that looks. Rashaan Evans, he's a solid player as well. Very good player. Janoris Jenkins, a little older, but he's a good player as well. So they got guys. They're gonna have to hang their hat. I mean, they're gonna have to hang their hat on offense. They have the 15th ranked offensive line going into this year, and the defense actually wasn't that good to begin with. So it's an interesting team. I remember when the free agency was happening a few months ago, we were talking about the Titans. I think when we did biggest winners and losers, I feel like we talked about the Titans being losers because we don't know what the hell they did. And I still kind of feel like that. We know they're going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Who knows when, King Henry is going to decide to kind of break down a little bit, but he hasn't shown signs of slowing down yet. With that extra game next year, he'll probably get 2,000 yards again. They got Julio, but Julio hasn't been able to stay that healthy lately. He's still Julio Jones, don't get me wrong, but if he only plays like 12 games or something like that, 12, 13 games, that doesn't bode well for them. Josh Reynolds, he's a speedy guy, but he's not changing life. AJ Brown's a dog, and I think I really like AJ Brown a lot. The tight end group is okay. The offense, like I said, the offensive line, Ryan Tannehill's solid. So, and then their backups for the quarterbacks are not good.
They don't have a tight end anymore though. Now it's on that guy Sawam now or whatever his name is.
Jeff Swain. No, but they have Anthony Fursker as well.
Oh yeah, but
so they have guys on their football team. That's what they have. The problem that I have with the Titans is that I don't know how they've been winning games. I feel like they're a decent team, but they just keep finding ways to win. And that has a lot to do with coach. He comes from that New England, whatever they call that
tree.
So I think he probably has a lot of that going into them, but I don't know, man. I have them doing okay, but their schedule is tough. Like that schedule, the Titans schedule, the Colts schedule, the AFC South schedule this year is tough. The Colts. So they're playing the Colts twice a year, depending on what situation they have going on at quarterback. That could either be 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2, but that one's unpredictable. But they could probably sweep the Jags and sweep the Texans. So that's 4 wins right there. So it's a matter of, are they going to be able to keep everyone healthy this year? And is Derrick Henry going to be able to continue to carry the load? Because as long as Derrick Henry keeps being Derrick Henry, that play action is still going to be there for Ryan Tannehill. And then short yardage, Derrick Henry's going to run it in and, get you your 15 touchdowns or whatever he needs. So, but I feel like there's a lot of question marks on this team because I don't know what direction they thought they were going to go into. Because, like we said, they lost a lot of players. So the continuity is not going to be there. Tight end, not Jonnu Smith anymore. So it's a lot of moving parts that I'm a little concerned about. But people have always been very high on the Titans lately, but I'm a little confused.
I'm confused as well.
A little confused.
Defense wins you championships, and you basically gutted the entire secondary. Like the whole secondary is gone. Like everyone that was a starter on your secondary is no longer there.
I mean, you don't think Caleb Farley's going to be able to kind of hold his own?
He came off on a big injury, so they took a gamble on it. He was supposed to be the number one DB in the draft, and then he slipped because of his injury. And he also had talks of him possibly going to the second round and maybe slipping to the third. So I'm not holding anything. I think there's talent there. It's just like you said, can these guys come off healthy? You have to rehab this kid out of his injury from college, which I'm sure he's been doing. Hopefully he hasn't been being stupid about it. And then Julio Jones, how many can you at least get 13 games out of Julio this year instead of 12?
Shit,
That would be my thing. It's like I need you to have 13 games this
getting
year.
rid of Corey Davis. They need him to play. They need him to play like the whole season. Because Corey Davis, I know he's not the polarizing wide receiver, but
he runs his routes and he's always healthy.
He was open. he found a way to get open. And Julio is still Julio freaking Jones. So that we can't look past that. But he's got to stay on the field. That's because he's going to make life easier for Derrick Henry because you got to pay attention to Julio all game. He's going to make life very easy for A.J. Brown because you got to pay attention to Julio. So I think if Julio plays the full season, I think they'll be fine. They're going to have to probably outscore some people or slow the game down where they can have, Derrick Henry kind of just tote the rock 25 times a game, 25, whatever, 30 times a game.
And then Bud Dupree is on the PUP list right now, unable to perform. So you need to get him healthy. Just like the Colts right now, both of these teams are going to be run heavy offenses. Like they're going to be very, very run heavy, and you're going to see a lot of tight end play too. Whether it's on the blocking side, whether it's on the short pass to make it easy for the quarterback to be comfortable out there. But yeah, I think the Titans have a more of an upper hand since Tannehill is healthy and he'll be able to throw a little bit more. But if the defense, man, like it's just bad. Looking at it, it's just bad, man. I'm not.
Yeah, they're gonna struggle defensively. They will, especially Bud Dupree. However long he stays on that pup list, I mean that's a little scary.
What's your prediction for him?
Not gonna lie, man. My prediction at first was 10-7. But I'm confused now. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at the Colts. To me, at the very best, they can probably get 10 wins. But man, the offensive line, a little compromised. The defense is not that great. They got some injuries. I mean, he got Julio Jones and Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown. So those pieces right there are sexy. And you want to okay, I can rock with that. But I don't know, man. They might be able to scrape you 7 wins this year.
You say 7?
I'm gonna keep it at 9-8.
I think that's
meet you in the middle.
Before dissecting as hard as we're going now, I had him at 10-7 as well. 9-8, I think, is kind of idealistic.
We got this. That one's a weird one. Mm-hmm. I'm actually very intrigued about that one.
All right, let's jump to another team. Let's go Jaguars. Bringing in a new head coach, obviously Urban Meyer. He's going to the NFL now to coach. I look at this team and I think they had one of the better off seasons in football.
Great off season.
The way and even getting rid of the players that they lost, what they added the better pieces in my opinion. They got younger and they got a lot of talent for it. Mm-hmm. So their key additions. Or let's do key additions. They brought back Carlos Hyde again. He's a good veteran running back to have in that locker room to coach these guys, to be in their ear, and if they suck, they just take their spots, and he'll still play very well. Mm-hmm. Philip Dorsett, who's a good 2-3 type of receiver. Marvin Jones is their big wide receiver now that they got away from the Lions. Has always been underrated in my books, and he's with the Jaguars. He'll still be underrated. Pull MLB college football analyst extraordinaire Tim Tebow, God-sent son out of retirement to come finally play in the NFL again as the position he should be at, a tight end. They franchise tag Cam Robinson, defensive tackle Malcolm Brown. They add him from the Patriots, and then they add cornerback Shaquille Griffin. Now the departures, I got no problem with any of these departures, and I think they're all upgrades from everybody. You got rid of Chris Thompson, who was always like a fantasy football god and always thought he was going to be the number one in Washington and was going to take the reins here. Didn't do it. Wide receiver Keelan Cole and wide receiver D.D. Westbrook, who had some shine, but it's a new regime, new era. Y'all got to go. Tyler Eifert, your time has come and gone. Cornerback DJ Hayden. I don't know why people even still think that you're worth a shit, but you suck. So he's gone now. And then your draft picks. Obviously, you have the first overall pick, and Trevor Lawrence. You got his buddy Etienne. How do you say his name?
Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne. Both played at Clemson. You went and got a steal in the second round in Tyson Campbell, who should have been a first rounder. And then you got offensive tackle Walker Little. So those are 4 good draft picks right there, right out the gates that these guys get. And I see, like, you did great. You did great on all your additions as well. So I think looking at this team, they're gonna turn some heads, but not like, oh my God, they're relevant. They're gonna get better. They're gonna understand each other, and they'll just add pieces when they need to add pieces. Now, the one thing that I think everybody knows, and you and I have been talking about, is the Tim Tebow thing. Is this going to get drug out into like a soap opera thing? Like, is he going to be all in on being a tight end? Is he going to even be on the roster? How these guys feel in the locker room with him being there? Like, that's what it's all going to come down to. But I think with this team, I think they can take advantage of the division right now with the injury to the quarterback and the lack of defense with Tennessee. Yeah, they may be new, but we see it all the time. A fresh new team just bolts to the very top very quickly in the division. So I'm not saying it's a changing of the guard. I think at best we could see a changing of the guard only due to injuries and lack of certain things. But I like what the Jags did this year. I'm a big fan of it.
They had a very, very good offseason. Very, very good offseason. They drafted well. Like, shit, I mean, they brought in freaking Urban Meyer. I mean, damn. So I think they did a good job this offseason. What I think, my only concern, again, the O-line is not terrible, but they brought back the same exact O-line from last year, and they were 23rd last year, 22nd last year, and they're 23rd going into this year, and they got a rookie quarterback that they got to protect. So that is a cause for pause, a little cause for concern. But I think overall, and then their defense was terrible last year. It was 31st ranked defense. And, you don't go from 1-15 to the Super Bowl. It's going to be tough for them to be like that much better than 1-15.
No way in hell they're going to go into the Super Bowl.
So I wasn't thinking. I was just being ostentatiously facetious and being SAT words crazy, but I still do think that they're going to obviously improve. I mean, I don't think it's going to be any worse than 1-15. But again, that schedule is, is a little tough. Not too tough for them because they finished at the bottom, so they get an easier schedule. But we got to figure out what the hell, they should do something with Gardner Minshew, just get him out of there. The Tebow thing, I don't think it's going to be a concern anymore. I think Urban Meyer kind of calmed all the noise. So, hey, more power to you, Tebow. I wish you luck. And then, but offensively, Trevor Lawrence is going to have his buddy, Travis Etienne, that's going to help him a lot. And they still got James Robinson, who was a beast last year. With Carlos Hyde as the third option. That's crazy. DJ Chark is a dog. Marvin Jones Jr. is a little older, but he's solid. Chanel,
good young receiving core. And then
Chanel's gonna take that next. Philip Dorsett, he's fast. So
he's a name.
He's a name. He's a first round pick, former first round pick. So if his offensive line gives Trevor Lawrence a semblance of time, he can be good. Now, I think this is going to be like what the Chargers just did last year with Herbert. I think they have that kind of their defense is nowhere near as good as the Chargers had, but they have pieces in place.
Yes,
they have the pieces in place. Trevor's, I think Trevor's is the best thing since sliced bread. the best rookie since Peyton Manning to come into the NFL as far as a prospect. But Peyton Manning threw 26 interceptions his first year. So it's going to take, and then Andrew Luck threw 20 his first year and stuff like that. So it's going to take Trevor Lawrence a little bit of time to adjust to that NFL speed. I know he played at Clemson. I get it. The ACC is not great. So it's not like, he obviously played deep in the playoffs all the time, but it wasn't like he played the best competition. So I think he needs to adjust to the NFL speed a little bit. So it's probably going to take a little bit of time. I think they get off to a decent start, and they kind of just, lose one, win one, lose a couple, win one. Like, it's not going to be like 10 losses in a row kind of thing. So I think they're going to be a good football team, but not like, they're not a playoff team, but a good team, entertaining team to watch. And like you said, they can take advantage of what the hell's going on in Indy, and they can take full advantage of the Texans. And then the Titans, they might be able to sneak something there too. So the division right now is not, I wouldn't say it's completely up for grabs for them to take, but they could definitely shock some people this year and turn some heads if you don't take them seriously. So
any given Sunday, man, what's your prediction?
So when I was looking at it first, I was like, L, but then I was like, nah, they can't be L. Then I started to really break it down. I can only muster up like 3 wins, but I know they're gonna get to like 6 wins. Like, I know they're gonna find, because like, again, they only won 1 game last year.
Yeah,
but I know they got Etienne now, but James Robinson was really good for them as a running back last year. But again, their defense was atrocious last year. So we got to see what the defense can do. And then I think their offense got better. And I think Trevor Lawrence is an upgrade from Gardner Minshew and whatever else they had going on last year, because it was a kind of a dumpster fire. But they knew the assignment to go get the number 1 overall pick, unlike the New York Jets, and they got themselves Trevor Lawrence. So I wanted to. I said I can only see 3, but 5 or 6, I can. They can go probably 5 and 12, 6 and 11.
At best, I see 7 wins. At worst, I see an expectation. I see 4 wins.
7, okay.
7 is the ceiling. 7 is the ceiling is the sky. That's what Michael Jordan said.
The ceiling is the sky.
All right. Let's go to the last team, everyone's favorite team, the team that should be winning the division.
All right. Really quickly, honestly, you can skip all the bullshit with this one as far as like key additions and key whatever. All I want to talk about Deshaun Watson.
I'm gonna run through it real quick, okay? Key additions: they re-signed Tyrod, and they brought on a shit ton of running backs: Burkhead, Ingram, and Phillip Lindsay. Offensive tackle Marcus Cannon, defensive end Shaq Lawson, and they brought Desmond King over from the Titans. Departed, Duke Johnson gets fucked again. Randall Cobb, you're going to Green Bay. Will Fuller, you're going to Miami. JJ Watt's out, he's in Arizona, and they send McKinney to Miami. Draft picks: Davis Mills and wide receiver Nico Hollins from Michigan. That's it. Everything's on Deshaun Watson. Are we trading him? Are we not? Like, now, before they were like, we're not going to get rid of this guy. Then you have all these different scandals come out about him at the massage parlor and 50-something girls testifying against him. Now they're like, we'll get rid of him, and we'll get rid of him for something. Just give us a call. Like, we'll make it apparent now. So now it's out in the open that they want to move on from Deshaun Watson, basically.
Well, he's practicing. Like, why would you have him practicing? Like, you're messing up his trade value if he's practicing. Because if he gets hurt at practice, which can freaking happen, he tore his ACL his rookie season at practice. So I'm like, bro, I don't know what look, man. I had, my girl had family over a couple of weeks ago. They're from Houston, and I was asking them how, what's the feeling like? What's the energy level like right now in Houston, as far with the Texans? Nobody even wants the team there anymore. It's that bad. Like, and then I listened to some NFL reporters that say like they go to like they visit training camps, and they go over there and it's just eerie and weird and strange. And they got this rookie coach Collie who's like doesn't know what the hell he signed up for. Like, damn, if this is my first NFL job, why am I getting this job? He doesn't know what he's getting himself into. the GM and the president and the whole front office staff, they're all garbage. Deshaun Watson is obviously an amazing talent. We don't even know if he's going to be allowed to play. We don't know if he's going to be traded. We don't know what the hell is going to happen with that situation, right? So then you have Tyrod Taylor, who's constantly, he's a professional. Like, you got to love him, bro. But that's another guy. Like, damn, what am I getting myself into? I don't think he needs this. I don't think Cully needs this. I think they need to get rid of the team and move them to a different city or something, because this is just, this needs to be torn down, which they have done. They've torn it down so that they can rebuild. But kind of hard to rebuild with no offensive line and no draft picks to get to get what you need. So it's like,
the first draft pick was in the 3rd round, right?
Like some crazy shit like that. And they drafted a quarterback, I think, or something. Yeah, no, I don't remember.
Davis Mills was the first.
Davis Mills, yeah. So it's like, it's just, oh man, it's man, look, it's a dumpster fire. Now, if they're able to trade Deshaun Watson, and I don't know if it's gonna be the Eagles or not. I honestly, at this point, I'd stay away from it, and I'll just wait for the legal process to kind of play itself out. But if they do trade him, and when that does possibly happen, and if they'll get a good haul back for him, they're gonna get a lot of 1st-round picks and a lot of compensation as far as that. So this year, they just let it be a throwaway year, bro. Like, don't even put Tyrod Taylor out there to like hurt himself. He needs to be there, just coach up, help David Mills out. Like, there's no point of you trying to win because you're not good. And your offensive line is going to get Tyrod Taylor hurt again, who's coming off of a freak thing happened with his own organization. Don't put him through that. So 2-14 is my at the very best.
Yeah, the best I have, and that's if Deshaun plays, is 5, and the worst I have is like 1 or 2 wins.
Funny enough, I put if Deshaun plays 5, but who the hell is protecting him? Still, he's Deshaun Watson. Think about it. He played with this dumpster fire last year and led the league in yards and shit.
Yeah, and it's sad to see, because it's like, one, the Dolphins own the Texans. Like, when it comes to trading with them, like, they own their ticket, man. Like, anytime you want to get screwed, the one team they should not be calling is definitely Miami, because I guarantee you Will Fuller's going to ball, but they didn't trade him there. He signed there. But McKinney, I bet you he's going to have like a Pro Bowl, All-Pro year over there and ball out. So, and then the other thing is, like you said, Deshaun Watson, if he's healthy and he plays, like, you can get some wins, but he kind of shot him. I don't want to say he shot himself on the foot. Like, in the beginning, he took his like bio out of the Texans, all of that there. And he's like, I don't need these guys. It's going to be a breeze for free agency for me. And now they're like, oh, now you need us. You need us there for this legal process now, because you want a job.
That whole situation, man,
I hate it, man, because like you want to root for Deshaun, and I don't root for the Texans organization whatsoever, because ever since what was it, the president or the owner was like, we don't want the inmates overtaking the guards here. Like, that's some slavery bullshit there, man. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. And I don't think that they value their players. They run them.
JJ Watt. JJ Watt didn't even want to be there no more.
And Hopkins too. They were like, get me out of here, man.
Well, Hopkins got traded, and that was just because Bill O'Brien's an idiot. But JJ Watt was like, please get me the hell out of here.
And even Andre Johnson came out and said they don't respect.
Oh, yeah, they don't. Yeah. I just said, please get everybody the hell out of here.
When I think of the Houston Texans, I think of Andre Johnson. That's Mr. Texan to me. Him and JJ Watt on defense. Those are two guys.
Those are the two greatest Texans of all time.
So there's something going on there, man. And it just sucks that, yeah, Deshaun fucked up and whatever he did, but you're innocent until proven guilty in my eyes. So you got to ride this wave, man, and hopefully things turn out for the better. So, yeah, I got at best 2 wins. I mean, at worst 2 wins, and at best 5 if Deshaun plays. But it just sucks. It's an unfortunate thing to happen. So
it's rough. It's rough out in these Houston streets. So, all they got left, they don't got James Harden no more. But look, they turned James Harden into a good draft. You got good young talent. They got Christian Wood. They got stuff. The Astros went through a little cheating thing. Well, look at them. They have an amazing record in baseball, like
the best record in the National League,
American League.
My bad, yeah.
And now the Texans need to just wipe their hands clean. Like, look, we lost DeAndre Hopkins, we lost J.J. Watt, and we lost Clowney, and we're about to lose Deshaun Watson. Tear this bitch down and rebuild it up again, because that's the only way for them.
Yeah. It's a tough time to be a Houston fan right now, unless you just like baseball. So that's our breakdown of the AFC South. Let's go into our fun segment, Nick's favorite one, where you go to college. So KK, take it away, man.
Rapid fire. Where did he go to college? Now don't see. It's been a while since we did this.
Is there any theme to this, or just off the top of your head, random?
So it started off as a theme. The first one's a theme. But then I changed my mind. I'm like, I'm going to go with guys, right? So I don't know if I've given you this one before, but you'll see why I picked them. But, for the people who haven't listened to season 1 and don't know anything about where did he go to college, we're going to pick 5 players and who are NBA players who are pretty relevant. Everyone kind of knows who they are. And we're going to figure out where the hell they went to college, because A-Rod thinks he knows everything. We're going to start off with number 6 overall pick in the 1995 NBA draft. Big country.
Oklahoma.
Bryant Reeves.
Oklahoma.
This is the theme I told you about. He went to Oklahoma State. Because that's where Cade Cunningham just got drafted from. So, yes, Bryant Reeves went to Oklahoma State. You were 0 for 1. You're off to a bad start.
Oh, come on.
There's no partial points. You want partial points? Come on, Skip. All right, number 2. This young man was the number 9 overall pick in the 1992 NBA draft. His name is Clarence Weatherspoon.
Mississippi State. If not there, Clemson. One of the
Southern Mississippi.
I knew it was somewhere in Mississippi.
0 for 2. 0 for 2. Number 3.
Very.
Josh Childress.
Ooh, I remember that name.
You know who Josh Childress is.
Afro. Indiana?
No, he went to Stanford. Stanford, sir. My goodness, you are 0 for 3 today.
Rusty.
Number 4, very relevant player. He was let's see, he played for the Utah Jazz, he played for the Nuggets, he played for the Clippers, he played for a few teams. Where did the Mr. Howard Isley go to college?
Howard Isley.
Wow. Nick, we might have to get you back on the show, man, because this young man is struggling today.
Georgia Tech?
No, Boston College. Yikes. Last one. Come on, man. This guy, you probably know him, man. He's not that old. Where did Mr. Stromile Swift go to college?
Number 2 overall pick, went to LSU.
Thank you. I had to give you something easier.
That wasn't easy. Come on, no one knows who Stromile Swift is.
Yes, everyone knows who Stromile Swift is.
Where'd he get traded to after he went to Vancouver?
I don't know. The Suns.
No, Houston.
Houston, duh.
One more fun one. Just off the top of your head, go.
Where did Chris Mim go to college?
Texas. Big man, bro.
He did. Good job. See, you got it. That doesn't count. You went 1 for 1. You went 1 and 4 today.
Yeah, 1 for 5.
Yeah, 1 out of 5.
I knew Josh Childress too, and I knew Big Country. I knew those two. Should be 3 for 5, but
that doesn't. You can't get partial credit. I'm sorry.
I'm just rusty. I haven't been brushing up on shit. So all
where
good.
Where does Smush Parker go to college?
Did he even go to college?
Sure did. A couple of them, actually.
I'm gonna let you know right now. Nobody knows who Smush Parker is except for that 1 year he was with Kobe.
Everyone knows who Smush Parker is because of that year with Kobe.
Trash, man. I don't know. LSU.
Fordham University and the College of Southern Idaho.
cares. He's very forgettable. All right, that's the show. Let's wrap it up. I suck today. We got to do this more often so I can get my knowledge back to where it should be. You can find us on Twitter at fair_weather_pod, IG, Facebook, YouTube. Just search the Fair Weather Podcast. You will find us there. And then wherever you subscribe to podcasts, you can listen to the audio there as well.
I got nothing to add this week. You know, I like to have a soliloquy. I ain't got much to add, but have a good week. Prediction. Really quickly. The Cowboys and Steelers are kick off the preseason Hall of Fame game. Who you got?
Man, fuck Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, man.
We'll go with the Steelers.
I like Mike Tomlin. That's why.
All right. Reese Hoskins blasting home runs. All right. Peace.
Later.